Hey YouTube, this is a video nasty, and for my first video, I think I'm going to do my George Romero collection. So we'll start with the DVDs. First up is Night of the Living Dead, Millennium Edition. Great movie. Remember, before I ever seen the movie, I was probably like, I don't know, 9 or 10. We were at the library as a kid, and they had an audio tape of Night of the Living Dead, so I remember taking it out and listening to it, and I don't think I ever took it back, but I can't find it anywhere in my house. But anyways, it was just the audio of the movie, and I listened to it and listened to it and listened to it way before I ever seen the movie. And then when I was probably about 12, I finally seen the movie, and the ending scenes, I just love the pictures, and it's kind of haunting. But yeah. Then I have the Anchor Bay 30th edition with the bullshit John Russo extra scenes or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. Then we have the Anchor Bay Season of the Witch. Also has There's Always Vanilla on here. I've never really sat through There's Always Vanilla, but I remember after seeing Dawn of the Dead and all that, when I was younger, they released Season of the Witch on VHS at Blockbuster. Actually, it used to be Monster Video in Toronto. But anyways, I remember renting it and thinking it was so different than the Dawn of the Dead, and I hated it. But when this DVD came out, I bought it the day it dropped, and because I wanted to see Season of the Witch again as I was older, and I don't know, it's a decent movie. I'd have to watch it again, but this DVD is loaded with extras, like tons and tons of cool extras. Like there's the directors, it's like the films of George Romero, there's a couple of trailers, there's a featurette on Season of the Witch, then there's Digging Up the Dead, the Lost Films of George Romero. It's one of those double-sided DVDs, which is kind of shitty, but whatever. It's got a ton of features, like I said. And then, next up, is one of my favorite movies by Romero, and that is The Crazies. I've got this German tin. I have the Blue Underground Crazies, but I like this tin, so I bought the tin and got rid of the Blue Underground one. Then we got another one of my favorite Romero movies, Martin. I love this movie. I want the Anchor Bay one because I know there's a different commentary on it. But anyways, there's that one, and then I've got the new Arrow release. It's got like the poster and all that cool stuff in it. I love these Arrow releases. Then we have Dawn of the Dead, the Ultimate Edition. This is the movie that got me into the zombie movie collecting freak that I am. I love this movie. I still remember I remember always passing it up in the store, always passing it up as a kid. And I was like a huge Evil Dead fan at like 12, but I finally gave in and I rented Dawn of the Dead. And the minute they kicked open the door and blew the guy's head clean off, like I knew I was seeing like something totally different. And I've seen Dawn of the Dead. I have to have seen it about 150 times. I fucking love it. My 11-year-old son even loves Dawn of the Dead. Then a really different movie by Romero is Night Riders. A lot of people don't like this movie, but I dig it. It's totally different. Then Creepshow. Huge fan of this. I remember seeing this when I was like 8. My neighbors, while we were watching it on pay TV or something. And I remember a kid in my class, he had this wicked comic. It was this like big thick comic, and it was scene by scene. It was great. I wish I could find it. I threw Creepshow 2 into here because, I mean, the screenplay was written by Romero, but it's a lesser film. This movie sucks. The only good one I think is The Raft. And then there's Day of the Dead, which used to be my least favorite, but now it's becoming my most favorite. I don't know, I think it's the darker tone of the movie I really like. The effects are really cool too, and the zombies look awesome. And then there's Monkey Shines. I remember this used to play on pay TV all the time, and I never really was big into it. But I always loved the scene where he bit into the little monkey's neck and he started shaking it around. I love that. That's Ella, I think the monkey's name is. I gotta watch this again, it's been years. And I threw in the Savini remake because I'm pretty sure Romero had a big part in this. It's definitely, in my opinion, best remake ever made. There's no remake better than this. I love the way, like, how Savini, like, kind of set up, like, you know, if you're a fan of the original, you would be expecting certain things, and he kind of threw you for a loop in certain things. Like, you'd be watching, you know, like you're expecting something to happen, then it doesn't happen, and then he throws something totally different at you. I don't know, I really like this movie. It sucks though that it's been cut to shit, I think. I mean, it shows there's some deleted scenes where you could see like a lot of nice bullet hits and headshots and stuff. I wish there was a way to put them back into the movie. Then there's the Two Evil Eyes, Argento and Romero. Not a huge fan of this movie, but you gotta own it, I guess. And there's The Dark Half, which when I was younger, I was so wanted to see this movie because I remember a kid in my class, he had the book, and he would always tell me, like, some of the graphicest scenes from the book while he was reading it. And then, when it came out when it was out for rent, I was dying to see it, and then I seen it, and I was kind of let down. But, I mean, now that I'm older, I'm gonna give it another chance. I've seen it a few times, but I'll watch it again. And then there's Bruiser, and I remember I was excited for this movie because I knew it was filmed in my city, Toronto, and I finally watched it when it came out on VHS, and I hated it, and I don't remember fuck all from this movie, so I picked it up on DVD for cheap, and I'm gonna have to give it another watch. I think this is his first movie that he started doing in Toronto. And then next up is Land of the Dead. A lot of people hate it. I mean, it's definitely lesser. It's nowhere near as good as the original trilogy, but it's, I believe, better than the new three that he's made. It's the better of the new three. There's some good stuff in it, I guess, and the fact that it was filmed in Toronto is pretty cool. Then Diary of the Dead, which could have been really good, but I don't know. It's decent, and you know, it's cool that it's filmed in Toronto. And I love the opening scene when they're in Regent Park, and you know, the zombies are attacking live on the news, which is pretty cool. But that's pretty much the best scene, I think. But you know, I'm a Romero fan, so I gotta own it. Then we have the new one, Survival of the Dead, which I've only watched once. I mean, it feels like an unfinished or a rushed film. It almost feels like a TV movie. Like, it just, I don't know. There's something about it. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to watch it again to really give it a fair chance. Then I have, well, a buddy of mine worked on Diary of the Dead, and he stole me George Romero's chair back from his director's chair, which is pretty cool. Then my cousin, I believe, he worked on Diary of the Dead, so as a medic, so he knew I was a huge Romero fan, so he got on these things. These things are called dailies, which, like, I don't work on movies, so I think they're just like shot, like they hand these out to all the people that are working on the movie so they know what they're going to be doing that day. So anyways, my cousin got me Romero's autograph, and it says there, Jamie, stay scared. So that's pretty cool. It's funny though, because he went to write it on this other one and he screwed up, so he did it again, and I thought maybe my cousin was fucking with me, so I had to go on the internet and match up the a signature, but it's the signature. So that's pretty cool to have go along with my Romero chair back. And also, my buddy had stole me a sweatshirt. It's like the crew shirt from Diary of the Dead. It was all what I guess everybody got at the end of it, but it was too small, so I gave it to some girl that I was dating at the time. Then we have this little mini series of comics. I'm not a big comic fan, so I don't really know much about them, but this is a comic that George Romero wrote. There's 6 parts to it. I remember it was kind of cool. Like, there was like a zombie elephant, I remember, and this guy was like sort of like, he was like a zombie superhero kind of guy. Like, he was turning into a zombie, but he was staying good or something like that, and he rode the zombie elephant, which was kind of neat. I'd have to go through them again. It's been years since I really read them, so I don't even remember the story at all. Anyways, they got some pretty cool covers, and they're cool to have, being a Romero fan. And then last up is the Dawn of the Dead comic. It's like the trade paperback or whatever. Since it's my favorite movie, I had to have it. I probably paid a little bit too much because I didn't buy it when it first came out. I think I paid, yeah, look at that, $22.99. But anyways, I'm a fan, so had to have it. But anyways, that's my Romero DVDs, and next up will probably be Fulci's. Alright.